I love making a pot roast in the middle of winter and it's cold outside. You can sit by the fire while it cooks in the oven. And a pot roast is fantastic because it's all done in the one pan, so all the flavours stay in it. First of all, get yourself a heavy base casserole pan like this, oval preferably, because I'm going to do a pot roasted duck. This is probably one of my favourite ways to cook duck because it's, first of all, really easy, but second of all, it really gives us beautiful, soft, tender meat. So while that's heating up, let's get our duck. Now this is about 2.2 kilograms here. And once you've taken it out of the bag, we need to pat it dry so we get that golden skin. It doesn't spit when we're putting it in to the pan. So nice pat into the cavity also, because there's always a little bit of liquid there. And now we just need to truss it or just tie its legs up. I'll also tuck the little wings underneath, and just with some twine, we're going to tie the legs up so it sits nice and neat in the pot. So I'll just do a double knot there and then around again. I'm going to add a little bit of oil to the skin just to help it start to roast. So the smallest amount, because a lot of the fat of the duck will render, and a good pinch of salt. So on both sides, we'll just spread out that oil too, turn him over, and then a good seasoning. You can see how generous I'm being with the salt, and also a good crack of pepper. So on the breast side, and now we can start sealing it off in the pan. So breast side down, the duck goes in, be very careful, it is going to be hot. And once we get some golden colour, we're going to turn it off. So it's going to take 1 to 2 minutes on each side. In the meantime, we can get on to the onions. Now, this recipe has very limited ingredients, and I do that for a reason. I want to taste the port that's in here. I want to taste the onions, and I finish it off with some grapes. All of these flavours are very classical when it comes to duck. So with the onions, just a classic brown onion, we're going to just slice. And you want 2 onions for this. This is going to give us a really nice sweet gravy. So I'm just going to finely slice these while the duck starts to colour. Okay, last half of this onion. This is going to cook for a couple of hours, so this is really going to cook down and almost disintegrate quite a lot. Let's have a look at the duck. I'm just going to turn it over. Perfect. That's wonderful. See how that's got a good, deep golden colour? That's what we're looking for. Now I'm going to colour the other side of the duck for another 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll take it out, we'll add the onions, and we'll cook them until they're golden brown. You can see I've been cooking these onions really slowly, but at the same time getting some good colour on it. And you can see that it's a little bit dark on the bottom here, but we're going to deglaze this now with some port. So 1 cup of port, that goes in. And then just scratch the bottom of the pan. And you'll see this start to reduce, which means I can add our duck straight back in there. Beautiful. The smell of port and onions always reminds me of my mum's house. This is how she cooks her duck. And this works really nicely with pork too. Beautiful, beautiful flavours. Now that that's thickened up slightly, I'm just going to season the onions slightly with a little bit of salt. I'm going to add some cinnamon, just a whole cinnamon stick. 2 bay leaves can go in, 1 on each side, and a small amount of thyme on each side. Now, I'm lucky enough to have some duck stock here today, but you can, of course, use a little bit of chicken stock, and we'll just place that in and around the duck there. Perfect. So it comes about halfway up. Now, I've preheated my oven to 150 degrees, so it's not too hot, and this is going to cook for about 2.5 hours. 1 hour before it finishes to cook, I'm going to add some grapes. Now, this is a fantastic addition. Scarlotta seedless grapes in there. They're going to slowly cook and give this a lovely sweetness. Have a look at this. It's been cooking for 2.5 hours. Oh, And that smell, I wish you could smell the combination of the port and the onions, those delicious grapes, and the duck itself. It's a fantastic way to cook duck. I'm just going to take it out of the pot there and just let it cool down just really quickly. Just drain it off and have a look at this gravy, this rich jus that's been formed here. Look how beautiful this sauce is. You can see that it's thickened slightly there. That's from the onions, and it just smells so good. And those little grapes there, they've transformed, they've changed colour, they've blistered a little bit. And I'll just get a sharp knife. We're just going to cut the string off. We don't want that. And we'll just take it off. And I'm going to serve one of the legs, so there's one leg there, and I'm going to just carve one of the breasts off. Running your knife just along the breastbone there, just to take that off. Yum, that is just perfect. I've got some roast potatoes with that leftover duck fat. I just roast them. You can see how golden and crunchy they are. And we'll just add a few to a plate here. I've also got some lentils. Now you can use either or, but lentils and duck are fantastic. So we'll place that as a base. We'll place the duck leg on top, and I like the best of both worlds, so we'll just add the duck breast and the leg there. I'll just put that on the side. And we need some of that beautiful sauce, so make sure you get those blistered grapes and those onions. We'll just carefully drizzle that over the top. A few more. So that's it. That's my slow cooked pot roasted duck. Always serve it with a little side of salad just to freshen the whole thing up and just to make it look extra pretty, a sprig of thyme. That is a beautiful way of cooking a whole duck.